Hey everyone, I'm Mind, and today I'm going to be looking at a custom collectible minifigure series made by SBISSI Studio, or Sbissi. I don't know how they would want me to pronounce that, or how it is pronounced, but they reached out to me on Instagram and they were like, hey, I made this CMF and I would like more people to see it. Would you want to make a video on it? And I checked it out, and they are really talented in 3D modeling and art, so I said, yeah, I'd be more than happy to make a video about it. So I'm just going to be going over their custom CMF and looking at, giving my thoughts of what I think of their designs and what I think of their character choices. And I'll be linking their Instagram in the description below, and let me know in the comments what you think of their custom CMF as well. And please go follow them on Instagram because they're doing all the hard work here. I'm just sharing this because I think it deserves to be shared, and I think they're really talented. Here's a render they did of all the Golden Ninja, because Golden J is one of the ninja they included in their custom minifigure series. And they just showed it off with the Legacy Golden Lloyd and then the brand new Golden Zane minifigure from this year. And these three look really, really cool together. They designed legs for Golden Zane too, because obviously the official figure does not come with does not come with printed legs. He just comes with plain golden legs. And I love how they designed all of these leg prints to tie in together, and I think these are all super cool designs. I also like how they made Jay's eyes bright blue. I think that's really cool. Yeah, this is an awesome design. It looks incredible. Obviously, it's the rebooted suit in gold like it was in the show, but I think they did a great job of translating it into what could be put onto a minifigure, and I think it looks great. And also, as I said, the leg print is a brand new design, right? They did not have leg printing in the show, and Zane didn't have it in the set, so that's cool to see how they designed that. It looks great. But now that I've gone over that, let's look at the full CMF they've created. So this is a CMF of how many figures? So they have a total of 21 figures in this series, which is more than I think LEGO would actually do in a CMF, but you still get to see a lot of really cool designs, and I think they have some really interesting choices for minifigures here. So that's what the minifigures look like all lined up that they created, but they also posted individual renders of a few of them, so let's look at those. So first we've got Milton Dyer and Kid Unagami. Milton Dyer looks great, and I would love to have that as a minifigure, and they did a really good job with Kid Unagami, right? I think he looks perfect, and I think especially this facial expression right here, it reminds me a lot of Young Lloyd, right? Or Young Garmadon, one of them. Like, that's an expression I remember from the show, and I think it's a really good design. And I like the idea of the Prime Empire motherboard as an accessory, too, because obviously we didn't get that in any sets, but that was a big part of the show. Unfortunately, I don't think this would actually happen in a CMF. Not because not because I think they're a bad choice, just because we've had let's say if we were to get a CMF in January next year, right? That would be season 14 of the show that it would be coinciding with. And I just think these two characters likely will only ever appear in Prime Empire, so dedicating 2 whole slots to Prime Empire I think is pretty unlikely in CMF. Milton Dyer maybe, but I think Kid Unagami is very unlikely. But all that being said, you did a great job designing these, and I think these look great. Moving on to the next one, we have DigiZane. Now, this design exists, right? We've seen this in official art, but obviously he didn't appear in the show, and we've never gotten a minifigure. I love this. This looks great. I like how you did the blue weapon for Zane just to make it different than the one that came in the sets, and I love this expression design for him here. It's just like a sideways smirk, and it's not that much different than the Spinjitzu Slam Zane's face that we got last year, but it still looks really good, and I think it has a lot more personality than that face had, so I like that a lot. I also like how you have the hair included here. I think if we get a CMF with Titanium Zane, it should definitely come with his hair, because yeah, we need this hairpiece, so this would be a great way to get it. Next, we have Young Woo and Young Garmadon. It looks like you took some liberties in making your own designs here, which I think is a good idea, right? I don't think they would just... Well, the versions of Young Woo and Garmadon that we have in the show are kind of boring, right? They're just They really just wear Woo's black suit from Season 1. So I think this is really cool how you did this. I like how Garmadon seems to be based on the redesigned Lloyd, and Woo seems to be based on Young Woo from Hunted, and I think they look great. I love these 2 masks that you made, the golden mask and the purple mask. And I think they're just really cool designs overall, I think. And how the hats connect to the back, and these back torso prints too. It reminds me of the Legacy back torso prints, and those look awesome. I love that. I also think Young Woo and Garmadon both have a decent shot. If we were to get a Ninjago CMF, I think both of these guys would make sense to be in it. Though I don't know if we would get them both. I think we might get one or the other. But either way, the inclusion of the ninja hoods and everything, it's just very creative, very cool. I love this. It doesn't look like he has a solo feature for this figure right here, but we'll talk about this one. This is Old Man Lloyd. And I really like what you chose to do with this figure, because obviously this is based on Old Man Lloyd from Skybound. But Old Man Lloyd from Skybound was just normal Lloyd. Like, it was just Skybound Lloyd with, like, gray hair and an older looking face. And obviously we've already have the Skybound Lloyd torso and legs, so it'd be weird to re-release it. So what it looks like you did here was combine it with the torso and legs he wore at the end of Possession when he got the robes of Garmadon, but then also redesign it to make it more applicable to modern Ninjago. And then obviously with the face, you gave him the green eyes instead of the black ones. And I think that's a super smart decision, right, to make this figure unique and not just re-release Skybound parts. And I think that looks awesome. I think that would be a great figure to include in a minifigure series. And I think of all the versions of Lloyd that we're missing, I think this would be a really good choice for a CMF. So here's Golden Jay, like I talked about earlier, so I won't spend too much time on him. But as you can see, they designed a blue, like, electricity around his eyes, and I think that looks really cool. And I also like this weapon here with the trans blue chain, because that would just be a useful part to have to make nunchucks of lightning, because obviously if we had that, I think we should use a trans blue chain instead of the golden one for nunchucks of lightning and sets. So yeah, I love this design. This looks really cool. And yeah, there's the back torso print. And there is the two faces. I can't tell if there's freckles there or not, because Instagram does compress things, unfortunately. But I like this expression for Jay. I just think it's a lot friendlier than a lot of the expressions he has currently. And then this just looks really, really awesome. And then here we have Blacksmith Chi, and I think if we were to get a CMF, this figure is a given, right? This figure has to be in the series. This is the first, like, character we see in Ninjago ever, right? In the pilots. This is the first of the main characters we see as Kai in his blacksmith robes. And then he wore it again in March of the Oni, so I think it's a great choice. I've seen some people, when they're custom CMFs, have, like, the redesign on one side of the face and the old design on the other. And I know instead you chose to give him the red eyes like he had in Secrets of Forbidden Spinjitzu, and I think that's a more likely choice as to what LEGO would do, right? Obviously, old designs would be cool, but I think we've learned at this point LEGO has given up on the old designs, and we're never getting them again, which is okay. I'm fine with that. But yeah, I think these are two really cool expressions, because obviously this is like a full power expression, and this one is just sort of sad, sort of confused, worried, and that's just an expression we don't have for Kai yet, and I would love that. And then the samurai armor that he wore is a perfect accessory, because he wore that in the first episode of Ninjago, and I think that looks great. And here's the last figure that Sbissi, I'm sorry if I'm butchering your name, I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Here's the last figure that they have released like an up-close render of. And this is such a creative way to do this figure. It's so creative that I never think LEGO would do it, but I would love if they did this, because this is Faith in Nia's robes from March of the Oni. Obviously, Faith never wore Nia's kimono from March of the Oni, but this is because Nia, obviously, her head and hair we already have, and Faith we already have the torso and legs. So you essentially took two figures and put them into one figure slot, right? Because you could just put this head and hair on your heavy metal figure, and then you could put any Nia head and hair on this torso and legs. And I would love if LEGO did this, but unfortunately, I feel like this is too creative for LEGO, right? I feel like they would almost definitely be two separate figures. I don't think LEGO would ever do this, but in a perfect world, this would be the way to release these two figures, because this is awesome. I love this. So going back to the full layout of all the minifigures, let's look at the ones that the full renders haven't been released for. We have the first Spinjitzu Master right here, which comes with like the scroll, the prophecy of the Green Ninja. I don't know if an FSM minifigure is something I'd really want, just because I feel like the ambiguity of him, like not knowing who he is really cool. But for the 10th anniversary, it makes sense, and I do like how in your official art you don't show his eyes, you just show his mouth. I think that's really cool. And then the scroll with the Green Ninja prophecy on it is an excellent choice for an accessory. I like that a lot. And obviously I can't see your design too close, but it looks sort of based on the black Wu Crew robes, but with more detail and without the logo, and I think that looks great. I love that. Next we have Misake and Jay's biological mother and Fritz Donegan. I think Misake definitely, I feel like we definitely need a minifigure for her, because we have one that came in the Ninjago City docks, but that was just so horribly inaccurate. I think this would be awesome. And it looks like, I can't tell for sure, but it looks like you made a new hair hat combo for her, which would be awesome. I would love that. And then she comes with T, which makes sense. She should come with T. Jay's biological mother, Liber, I think is her official name. Great figure design. Like, you did a great job designing it, but I don't know how I feel about her in a CMF, just because you don't have all the current Elemental Masters in here, right? You didn't include Gravis, Belobo, or Camille, or Jacob. And I feel like they, at least to me, people will disagree with me, but to me, I feel like I would rather have all of the current Elemental Masters before we start getting any of the past ones. But still, a great looking figure. Same with Fritz Donegan, right? He looks perfect. He looks exactly how he should in the based on how he looks in the show, and I think that's an awesome figure. Moving here, we got my boy Dr. Julian. He's the you guys have probably heard me talk about this before. Dr. Julian is the minifigure that I want the most. Next year's the 10th anniversary. If we don't get a Dr. Julian, I will be so upset. But yeah, he's a great choice for a figure and perfect. Great job. I want to see your up close render of him because obviously I'm looking at these tiny photos, but he looks awesome. I love Dr. Julian. Great choice. Next we have the original Master of Ice. Again, same thing that I said with Liber. Good design, and he looks great. I just feel like I would personally rather have some of the current Elemental Masters than the past ones. Cyrus Borg, another, like, Julian and Cyrus Borg are like my two most wanted figures. He is so needed. He's such a big part of the show in terms of side characters, right? We've gotten less relevant side characters and we haven't gotten Cyrus Borg, so I think he's very, very important and we should get him. Over here you have the robot lady from Woo's Tees. This is one choice that I have to say I disagree with. Again, I think you did a great job designing the figure, and while I can't see her up too close, like, she looks good for what she is. I just feel like Woo's Tea is such like a niche thing, and with how many figures we haven't gotten, I would pick somebody else over her. And especially because Woo's Tea isn't even canon, so she is not one that I would agree with picking, but those are just my thoughts. Next we have Young Misako. I guess she's another one where I'm like, I don't know if she's the best choice for figure, because we already have an old Misako, though we haven't gotten, like, there's no Misako figures on shelves currently, so this is, I guess, a good way to put a Misako figure out there, right, without just re-releasing the old one. So I guess she's a decent choice, because Misako is a big part of the show, and with past Wu and Garmadon, she would make sense to be included. We have Young Morra right here, which, where is he? Yeah, Young Morra, who has, like, the faded green ninja robe and the streak in his hair. I think that's awesome. Again, I think that's a figure I would love to have in the CMF, but it's a figure I don't think LEGO would include just because Possession was just one of 14 seasons, right? So I don't know if they would go back just to Possession to grab Young Morrow, but I would love to get the hair with the green streak in it to have for older Morrow, and that robe he's wearing is super cool, and Young Morrow I think is like a really nice figure to have, especially with the Young Wu. I think they would go really well together. And then there's two figures left. There's Dareth, which to me looks just to be essentially the same one that was released in 2014, except with a legacy hood. And honestly, I don't think that's a bad choice, because while, yeah, we have a Dareth currently, we have not gotten a good Dareth in 6 years, and we've never gotten the brown ninja hood. So maybe if we got like a very similar Dareth to that with maybe a new expression and a dual-sided face, and then with a hood, I think that would be a great choice for a CMF. And then finally, you have Lou, Cole's dad, right here, and he's another one that I think we need to get at some point, right? I don't know, I feel like he's an important lore element. He was in season 1. I think he should definitely be included. And as I said earlier, right, like, I'm looking at this wider picture, I can't see close up on him. It looks like you've got this face of him singing, and I think that looks awesome. I think that's very fun and lively, and I think that's a great expression for him, and I would love to see him included. But those are my thoughts on this custom minifigure series. Let me know what you guys think of this series in the comments below, and please, please, please go follow SBSSI_studio on Instagram. He's super talented, right? Like, all these designs are incredible, and the fact that they're not only designed, but they're 3D modeled, like, this takes a lot of time and effort, and it looks amazing. So please go follow them, like all their posts, give them the credit they deserve, because this takes a lot of talent and a lot of time, and it looks excellent. Well, personally, I would pick different minifigures than you picked for some of them. I agree with a lot of your choices, and if we got a Ninjago minifigure series and this was it, I would be incredibly happy with it. Like, this is, like, if I could pick my dream 16, it would probably be different than this, but if this is what we got, I wouldn't be complaining about it. Like, this is incredible, and you did a great job designing these, and I love this. But yeah, as I said, please go follow them on Instagram. Very talented artists, and I think that's going to do it for today's video. So if you enjoyed this video, please press like, subscribe if you're new. I do LEGO videos like this every single day, so if you subscribe, you'll be the first to see them. And I think that's going to do it for today's video. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.